on that oil than the cement. This is the danger coming down. Flynn trying again the long way round. Has it come a very brave man to get around a long way. This left-hander, I don't think he can do it, but it's still putting Dunn under a lot of pressure. He's seeing Flynn arrive to the left and then the right.
Well, this is, of course, a way of lining them all up to get him used to sort of rather unorthodox line. We had a spinner in the background there, but it's Johnny Flynn really having a go, and then a huge battle behind. Colin Birmingham is in there in the Stillorgan Bowls car, but Johnny Flynn in the Dublin Crystal sponsored car now really challenging Matt Dunn in number 12, who still leads. Dunn, the Van Diemen RF80. He's an electrician, and he has support from Viking Electricals. Oh, and a bit of bodywork falling off the Crosley, the front nose cone off one of the back markers there as he went round shell. Dunn has done that a little bit better than Flynn and has got a convenient gap now.
Yes, in Formula Ford you need 2 or 3 car lengths. Flynn seems to be able to close up there, and the two of them are pulling away now, about 5-6 car lengths from Beattie. Now this will give Johnny Flynn a chance to relax in his position. He's not under pressure from the third man. He can concentrate on having a go at Matt Dunn. He catches up around here through the S's, but when they come out of Dunlop, Dunn's car seems to be that little bit quicker. Johnny very, very close going up to the Dunlop hairpin. Now there's a way of getting up the inside if you're brave enough.
But he's trying on the outside again, and that's probably not going to do him much good. So Johnny Flynn up over the cars, but he's nicely on the inside. He's got the drag out of the corner. It'll be interesting to see which is quickest in a straight line now, the Van Diemen or the Crosley. And once again, Matt Dunn gets across his bows and positions himself for shell. But Flynn getting very determined this time. He just doesn't get far enough to help to position himself across the bows of the Van Diemen. Somebody else trying very late on the inside of shell, but look at this, Roy Beattie is now with them. We've got a superb battle for this Flogas C Formula Ford race. 18 cars on the grid, and it gives you some idea of the popularity of this formula to think that there are 3 whole sections and 3 championships run constantly here at Mondello. Johnny Flynn nearly got himself into trouble that time. He's getting a bit wide, but he's on the inside, and he's through.
Very, very well done. Every other lap he tried on the outside and set Dunn up. Dunn left the gap that time with the inside, and fair dues to Johnny. Stuck the nose in. Very brave manoeuvre, very late on the brakes, but you can see by fighting with each other, the rest of the field are beginning to catch them. Beattie now is beginning to put Dunn under pressure, and then with number 14, Eugene Healy is closed up, so we've got a good motor race in our hands. Flynn pulling away now, a couple of car lengths, but I think Dunn should be able to come back on a good move by Johnny, well executed.
Behind Healy, we've got Colin Birmingham also showing well. Dunn having dropped a little bit, and there's Birmingham in the blue and white Crosley, and that's Pat Cassidy just behind him also. The very naked-looking motor car is number 61, Seamus Noonan, who's lost a lot of his bodywork at this stage.
Nose cones, most important to keep the front of the car on the road, Alan. It's the whole aerodynamics of the cars, and inside that nose cone is the radiator, which is there to protect. Now, a little tap on these radiators, spring a leak, and it's all over for you. Flynn now pulling out, driving very sensibly. He's trying to pull the gap from Dunn, let Dunn battle away with Beattie, and he should be able to have this one in the bag. If he can keep this pace up, very smooth driving every last minute. He has enough of a lead at the moment that he can use all the right lines, the wide line up, around it, into second gear. He exits there into third and down the straight. He can pull this race off, 1 or 2 laps of clean, the fastest lines, and he can leave Dunn behind to fight with Beattie.
Number 52 there in third place, Roy Beattie, only 21 years of age, from Dublin, and a brother of both Noel and Henry, who have raced before, and his first season, so he's showing very well. 24 just going through, picture there, that's Kevin Byrne from Bray in his Crosley 32F. But there he is, Johnny Flynn. Comes from a very experienced racing family. His father, Joe Flynn, with many, many victories in older days in motor racing here. There's a man to watch, 46, probably really shouldn't be in this race at all, but he had trouble in practice. So 46 beginning to move up fairly well there. Pat Cassidy.
Yes, John Flynn now with 5-6 car lengths. Beattie putting Dunn under tremendous pressure. And number 14 there, Eugene Healy, being harried by Colin Birmingham. So a good scrap, yes, and number 52 there, up the inside. Roy Beattie has done it. He dived up the inside, going into shell, and he's got ahead of Matt Dunn. Now let's see if he can chase after John Flynn. A good manoeuvre there, up the inside into the hairpin.
Well, as we said, a very inexperienced driver. It's only about his 4th or 5th race at Mondello, and he's going extremely well there in the Van Diemen RF81. So Roy Beattie now, can he shake off down and get after Johnny Flynn, the leader? Number 16, then from Dorky, Johnny Flynn. Not only his father is racing, but also his sister used to race midgets.
Yes, very, very wide line there by Beattie, losing a lot of ground, let Dunn back up behind him. Johnny at the moment has the ideal gap, if there is such a thing in Formula Ford racing. He has enough room there, he can use all the road, he can get the power down, not having to keep the tight lines. Now there's Beattie. Beattie doing very, very well to pull a car length or so in the first lap of being ahead of Dunn. Now back up into Dunlop, you can see them diving to the left, everybody trying to get up the left, but Dunn is closing the door. And he's pulled a long way out from Matt Dunn. Matt Dunn now coming under pressure from Eugene Heary. For a man that was leading the race 4 laps ago, now he's into third and in danger of losing his third place, Alan.
And you've got to remember that number 14, the man who's putting the pressure on there, Eugene Heary, as we see here in the PRS sponsored by Trucks. He is a gentleman, not a young racer like so many of these, but a middle-aged gentleman, I don't think you'd mind me saying, ex-Formula VW racer, but he had a huge accident just in this part of the course only about 3 weeks ago, and was really very badly shaken up and the car very badly damaged, and it's great credit to him that he's has the nerve and the ability to die so closely with his fellow competitors.
Now Dunn there, number 12, Matt Dunn Jr. has seemed to pull away a little from Healy and taking the pressure off himself. I'm sure Matt's thinking, what have I got to do in this race? I've been leading it, I've been down to second, now I'm in third, and now I've got Healy behind me in the inside. Healy looking at the inside at the corner there. Can't be done. Once you close the door there, the long way around is very hard to pass. But I think if Matt has a problem is he's watching his mirrors too much. There was no reason for him to try the inside of the corner that time. He had plenty of room. The oil flag, that yellow and red flag there, is to show the competitors that some oil has been spilt on the track. Now this could make life difficult for the leaders, because one little patch of oil in these cars, they're very narrow tires, and you'll get a lot of sideways movement. And number 20 there is Colin Birmingham back in. That's the third car in our picture. Guess trying down the inside of Fury. That's the blue and white car. That's Colin Birmingham, number 20.
And lap chart tells us that the leaders have now completed 8 laps, are on their 9th lap of this 10-lap Flogas race. And it's number 12 there. There's Morris Dunn. Sorry, not Morris Dunn. It's Matthew Dunn. Morris Dunn we'll see in the 2000 race. The man who led earlier on. And we're still looking for number 16, the leader. And there he is, Johnny Flynn, going extremely well. Now, with 9 laps completed, going on to his last lap, Johnny Flynn, the Dublin Crystal, sponsored Crosley. He's just changed the car. And he's made the transition into Formula Ford this year from many years in mod sports cars, the type of MG midgets that you used to drive, Brian.
Yes, a different technique of driving. The mod sports midgets run on slick tires, much wider, 10-inch wide wheels. These are only 5.5-inch. They've got much the same as a road tire on them. The grip isn't fantastic, but the cars have this suspension, independent suspension on all 4 corners. Very delicately balanced. It's made of a square tubing, all welded together with a 1600 Ford engine bolted in the back, producing about 110 brake horsepower. Very, very, very good to handle.
And interestingly enough, he prepares his own engine, which is pretty unique in this class of racing. Mostly it's done by Down Daly engines here in Ireland or at some of the English builders. But Johnny Flynn, who is an engineer, prepares his own engine, all the more sweet to take the checkered flag and the Flogas pole alongside him.